Do you ever get up at 3 a.m. wondering, dear God, why do XS sites suck so much? If you do, you're like me. Folks, this is Fernando doing a video for the More Survivalist, and in this video I'm going to be explaining why XS sites suck. It's not just my personal opinion, which everyone has. I'm going to be explaining a few facts as of why this is. And before you get your panties all bunched up and start writing your insults there in the comment section, it's nothing personal against XS sites, people that use them, people that make them. I know they're made in Texas by very good folks. That's great. I actually know people that I respect a lot in the shooting community that use XS site as well. I'm very happy with those. Yes, James Yeager is a big fan of XS sites. I know some good friends of mine that have worked with him and appreciate him a great deal, have just good things to say about the guy, and I know he's a fantastic instructor, likes these sites a lot. Just doesn't change the fact of what XS sites are and their capabilities, what you can do with them. So XS sites for me started many years ago when they first came out. I actually knew a guy working with Jaeger that was, before even YouTube videos started being made about XS sites, a very good friend of mine told me, you have to get XS sites, they're the best thing in the world, we're using them over here, great sites. I needed sites for my Glock, so I went, bought XS sites, big dots, had those shipped to me in Argentina, installed correctly my XS sights in one of my Glocks, and hit the range. And of course the first thing I noticed was, dude, I'm really not getting very good groups with this thing. But I was ready. I knew that these are not sissy target sights. These are combat sights intended for for very close quarter battles, for fighting, not target sights. XS sights are a different thing. So I was ready for that. I gave them more time, tried using them more, tried not thinking, putting the golf, just looking at the golf ball, putting it on the target, putting the eye on the dot, and all that stuff that we know of. And little by little it started, yes, I was hitting my target, not gonna be lying about that. But as weeks went by, shooting maybe, I'm an average shooter. I shoot okay, not great, not a disaster. I know my limitations and such, and I know what I'm capable of. So shooting twice a week, shooting on weekends for defensive shooting, and shooting another day during the week for practical pistol shooting. I was shooting a decent amount of time, and simply was not very happy with the XS sights. Just the groups were not what I liked them to be. Again, I knew that these are combat sights, and we did the force on force scenarios, we did fast shooting drills and all that stuff. Still not happy. So one day I'm there in the range in one of these shooting sessions, and there's my instructor there, Jorge Baigorria, which is a guy I have a lot of respect for, specifically for gunfighting. It's a guy that since the time I've known him hasn't been involved in more gunfights that I care to remember. So I have a great deal of respect for him as a fighting shooter, so as to put it some way. So I give my gun to Jorge and say, Jorge, I'm not really getting a good results with these XS sights. I know they're a great thing, and people love them, but it's just not working for me. Give it a try. I give my gun to him. He shoots it a little bit, and he says, yeah, this thing sucks. And he just drops it and leaves. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that's just one guy's opinion, even though he's a very good shooter, competes, and has a lot of street fighting experience. But there was another guy there in the range. I'm not making any of this up. This is exactly as it happened. Another guy that is a competitive shooter, actually one of the best in the country in Argentina. He usually ends up top 5 or such, or in the first place, as a practical pistol shooter. I tell him, I got these sights, I'm just not getting the results that I want. It's probably me. Give it a try, see how it works. They are combat sights, they're not target sights, but give it a go, see what happens and what you have to think about it. He uses it and says, yeah, well, the thing is this, he says, you just cannot get a good sight picture with these sights. You just cannot get the level of accuracy that you get with traditional front post and notch sights, and that's why you're not getting the accuracy you're looking for. And yes, that was exactly what was happening, and I knew that. I knew these are not target sights. But the thing is this, the idea, why would you be using XS sights in the first place? Because they're very fast for combat shooting. The thing is, I wasn't getting any faster because of XS sights. That's pure bullshit. You're not going to be shooting faster because of XS sights. That's simply not the way it works. If you have good eyesight, you're going to be shooting fast because you practice a lot, because you have the correct grip and you have the correct stance and you can get into it fast. That's it. There's really nothing to do with exit sights being bigger or not even being there. The thing I do, and I noticed this, in spite of trying with my exit sights, I didn't have any advantage in terms of speed. That was very noticeable. I didn't have any speed advantage. What I had was a lack of accuracy. That was what I was losing and not liking. With your traditional, and by the way, I have the Mepro lights, true dots, because you have that square shape there in the back, which allows me to do some of those single-handed drills. What you do is this: you just bring the gun up, and for fast, close-range shots, you just put the front sight, which is more than visible enough, between you and the target. The moment you see it hit between your eye and the target just gets between the two, you just pull the trigger, and at very close range, that's exactly where you're going to be shooting. Not very accurate, but it's going to be fast, and you're going to be hitting your target if you have the correct grip, right? And when you need a more finer shot further away, just take an extra quarter of a second or less. All these things happen very fast in your brain, and you get the good picture there, and you align them correctly, and you just hit your target much more accurately than with exit sights. That's been my experience. That's been the experience of a lot of people, but there's really not a video out there explaining this. But you're thinking, okay, but the exit sights, the exit sights are really nothing new. They are express sights intended for dangerous African game. That sounds cool, right? Well, the thing is a couple of things. First of all, express sights, which are basically exit sights, work well in a rifle where you have a cheek weld. It's the same principle involved in a shotgun. A shotgun, you can shoot slugs with a shotgun, and just having a front ball there as the front post, and you're going to be hitting your target at maybe 50 yards with your shotgun. Because you have a different gun, you have a long gun, you have a different sight radius, and just putting the cheek weld there is going to be enough for that closer range shooting typical of big game. In a rifle, in a big game rifle, yes, these do work. Now, it's not an excuse saying that these are intended for dangerous game, because my ACOG TA-41 is intended for a freaking rocket launcher, an in-law rocket launcher to kill tanks. Tanks are more deadly than lions. Does that mean I'm going to be putting my TA-41 in my Glock and this is going to be a good thing for me, or even practical, or make any sense at all? Of course not. Just being intended for something bigger, deadlier, or whatnot does not mean that it works in a handgun. Well, and you're probably thinking, okay, well, but you can still shoot accurately with exit sights, right? There's the videos, there's the James shooting at 100 yards with exit sights, and he's hitting the target. Bling, bling, bling. You align it, you shoot, and with the tip beyond 25 meters, with the tip of the golf ball, you hit the target, right? No, the thing is this. Anyone hitting the target at 100 yards with exit sights is hitting the target in spite of excess sights, not because of excess sights. This is far more accurate, and anyone honest will agree with that. The thing is that with any sight system, and I'm going to be introducing my own patented STD sights, with my STD sights, if you align the golden triangle, put the square between the spheres, you're going to be hitting your target as well. This is a sight system that I've been working on. If you want to learn more about STD sights, leave a comment below and I'll do a video about that. It's going to be very interesting. Point is, anyone shooting well or hitting a target at 100 yards with exit sights is doing it in spite of exit sights. This is faster, more accurate, and finally the explanation as of why that is because our brain registers this much faster, better than any round surface. So even if I move it 1 millimeter here, which is the correct sight picture? Is it here? Is it here? Is it there? A little bit there? These surfaces, these round surfaces, are not nearly as obvious for accurate shooting as this. This is much more obvious. The principle is the same by which you see a picture in a wall and you realize it's crooked. We see straight lines much clearer. Our brain tells us, yes, this is correctly aligned. We see the bars of light. That's the correct terminology for these. You see the bars of light and you realize this is well centered. Here, not so much, not nearly as well as the traditional patridge. front post and notch sights. Folks, it's gonna be all for now. Don't get pissed. This is just information. Take care, subscribe, share. See you on our next video.